I'm Commissioner Anthony Batts, Baltimore Police Department. Just want to tell you a little bit about very trying in Baltimore and how people have been reckless in harming the city as a whole. We had gotten information yesterday that at Mondawmin Mall we're going to have a large purge of high school students from across the city move to Mondawmin Mall. We had pretty close to about 250 to 300 police officers staged in or around Mondawmin Mall at the time that the youth got out of school. They congregated on the north side of the mall. We moved up what we call platoons to that area. My officers started sustaining cinder brick damage. Stones been thrown at them. The officers proceeded northbound to push the youth in a northerly direction. The officers got caught on an incline to which a number of my officers got injured. I had one officer knocked out, hit in the head. He was taken to the hospital. I just checked on him. He's doing better. I had an officer have his knee on his left kneecap severely damaged. There again at shock trauma. Had two more officers down, injured fairly seriously. All are going to be okay, but sustained heavy damage in their bodies by flying debris, rocks, sticks, bottles, anything that these what appeared to be high school students in our school system did out there within the streets. As our officers proceeded to push them out of that area, they moved down to the area of North and Pincy, where them and others attacked a police car, broke out the window, stomped on it. I think you have information on that. Very concerned that I had an officer trapped in that vehicle. The officer had removed themselves and had shelters in place in a nearby store. We were able to get resources down there to push that crowd away from that area. They ended up south at Pincy, in North Street, and you can see that they started to ransack CVS in criminal acts of vandalism and taking of property. We were able to assemble resources from out of town to get up there in a rapid manner. We took that corner back as we sustained Mondawmin Mall and made sure that it was stable. We were able to move those resources down to Pincy from a northern direction, moving southward. We then brought other resources that moved from the south northward to Pincy, and we took that intersection back. We started to push in a westbound direction as we saw more looting taking place just west of that area. As we moved a large contingent by that time, we had pretty close to about 500 to 600 police officers that were moving in that direction. I was very much pleased and surprised that we had ministers that came out with Congressman Elijah Cummings, tried to calm the area and calm the young people in that community that was just totally destroying the places where they have to live. And tomorrow they have to go to those same stores that they tore apart. And those stores that were burnt down and damaged are the same infrastructure that the people have to survive with in that neighborhood in the next month, the next 2 months, next 3 months. After that, we began to have trouble at Lexington Market. We responded approximately about 50 officers, excuse me, it's been a long day, 50 officers to Lexington Market, where we secured that and didn't sustain much damage. We then got calls later off of the 1700 block of Monument that we had looting there. We responded multiple units over there to sustain that area. We're seeing a number of small car fires. We're seeing a number of street fires, basically in Pennsylvania, Fulton area again, which has been the cornerstone of the problem the vast majority of the day. Those are the key points. I think we're still getting control of the Pincy area. Mondawmin Mall has been secured. We did have break-ins there. We responded officers up there. We have a number of arrests that came out of there. So we have most of the officers that were in the hospital are doing better. I think for the vast majority, the city is calming itself down slowly but surely, other than the car fires and the street fires. When I came down, I think I was reported a fire in the 1700 block of Monument. Suffice it to say, I am extremely disappointed in what has happened in this beautiful city tonight. I'm disappointed in the fact that the damage has been done to these communities. I'm disappointed that we cannot be more responsible in an embarrassment that we have nationwide in our community. This is not protesting. This is not your First Amendment rights This is just criminal acts doing damage to a community that is challenged in some ways, that do not need this and do not need to be harmed in a way that we have today. I am proud of the officers who were out there sustaining rocks and bottles, who were hit in the head, who were sent to the hospital, and their courage of standing tall in light of all the things. I applaud the outside agencies that came to support us: Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Howard County, and state police. So I sincerely appreciate that support. I look forward to having more support coming tomorrow from around the region. I had put out calls to Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. We had to go through the state to get those numbers up, but we're getting the numbers coming, so we're looking forward to that support.
You need officers from D.C.?
We couldn't get officers from D.C. because we have a state-to-state compact and had to go through state police.
How about the National Guard? I heard those assets will be coming in.
National Guard, they're on the ground now here within our city. What we're going to use them for is holding structures and fixed posts. What you can see is when we go into a location, we start pushing a direction, we need to have fixed posts behind us, or they retake the areas that we push out of. So having those number of assets are good and strong. I know I heard a question earlier, did we plan for it? Yes, we planned for it. That wasn't the issue. We just had too many people out there to overcome the numbers that we had to sustain the issue overall.
Could you differentiate between the student actions and the gang threat, the credible threat that was issued earlier?
Can I do what with it?
Separate the two. Are they related? Are they connected, or not at all? From what you know.
From what I know, we had Black guerrilla families. The Bloods and the Crips had a meeting yesterday, validated and verified when they said at the conclusion of Mr. Gray's funeral day, each group was intended to kill and take out a police officer.
Commissioner, should you have given the protesters, it's cold outside, Commissioner, should you have given protesters that much room, that much latitude over the last few days, and did that in any way kind of...
I don't think we gave them much room or latitude on Saturday. The protests were peaceful for the vast majority of the time until at 6 o'clock you had a group splinter off and made its way south. They didn't get reckless or problematic till they got to the northeast corner of the baseball stadium, to which they started to then act up. We moved resources that were already down in this area to take care of the larger crowd to address them. We did address them, and we took them to jail. We prepared today for a Mondawmin corridor. We didn't give them room. I was there. I saw our reaction, and I gave them direction to advance on them. They just outnumbered us and outflanked us. We needed to have more resources there.
Are you under pressure not to respond forcefully or aggressively here?
No, that's not the case. On Saturday, we were giving them space to have their First Amendment rights. When they started breaking windows and doing criminality, that's when we changed our attitude to engage them, to arrest those who were causing harm. What we did today is that we deployed pepper balls because of the bricks and the glass and the stones that were coming in. And so as we did that, it pushed them. But with the Youth for Kids, they started running around in rapid manners, and so we had to adjust to that.
Do you have updated numbers on the number of officers injured and the number of...
I'll get to you 1 second. I'm sorry.
Do you have updated numbers on the number of officers injured, number of arrests made?
I don't have the official numbers. I was told there was about 15 officers injured, and out of that 15, there were 6 that were seriously injured. Shock trauma, I went over and I think I saw 6 officers in shock trauma and talked to them and told them how proud I was and how courageous they were to stand tall for our city as a whole.
And how many arrests?
We will get you the numbers later. I don't have them right now, Colin. I'm sorry. Sir, you were asking a question?
Why wait until tomorrow to
I think we were just kind of overlapping the curfew with National Guard and their ability to get here. It's one to put a curfew there and not be able to enforce it. So when they come out, we have the capabilities and ability to enforce a curfew that's out there. I'll get right to you, Jane. I'm sorry. One second. I'll get right back to you. We have had shots fired in the Northwest District. We had a commercial robbery that took place. As officers arrived on scene, there was a guy running out of the back, fired multiple shots at officers. No one was hit at this time. I'm sorry, Jane.
These are not outsiders tonight. These were high school.
These are our Baltimore youthful residents. A number of them came right out of the local high schools there on the other side of Mondawmin, started engaging in this. And if you saw on one scene, you had one mother who grabbed their child who had a hood on his head, and she started smacking him on the head because she was so embarrassed. I wish I had more parents that took charge of the kids out there tonight.
What can you do in the school system when you think about like at certain high schools they came out of like by the mall? Are there any meetings tomorrow with the school officials? I know there's no school tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, I mean, what's the plan to try to deal with this at the school level?
I had talked to Dr. Thornton, who runs the school district, last night, knowing that this was going to happen. We talked, when I reached out to school personnel, I was told that they planned to have a teachable moment today. There's no doubt in my mind that they probably engaged the young people to have them not act in the manner in which they did, to which we have young adults here who are 15, 16, 17. They know right from wrong. They're not 2-year-old kids or 3-year-old kids. They had independent actions that they did, and they're going to be responsible for those actions.
Are you worried,
Time for 2 more questions.
Are you worried that this will get worse tomorrow?
I don't know if it's going to get worse. I think the curfew is going to help us to get the city under control. The extra resources is the biggest issue for us. I know people would compare us to Ferguson. Ferguson is a much smaller city. Baltimore is almost close to about 80 square miles. And when we have multiple areas popping up, we have to have the resources and the numbers. What you saw tonight is that we were pulled so thin, whether at Lexington Market, whether at Pensy in North or at Monument, we had opposite ends of the city pulling us at the same time. So extra resources here will allow us to get on top of the issues at multiple locations.
The fire on the outside
Is
of
it
the city.
connected to the gang threat? That was a question earlier, but we didn't.
I'm sorry. Now, what did you say?
Was the start of the violence connected to that gang?
No, I don't think that was connected at all. I just think these were youth that coming out of high school, and they thought it was cute that they'll cinder blocks at the police department and to address it that way.
Fire related?
The fire at CVS was related to the looting.
No, on the east side.
We don't know that issue, and that's a shame too. You have a center there that is going to make a difference for our elderly, to make a difference for people who are in need, and there it's burned down, and those people work so hard for that. That is just a shame. That is sad.
Your message for tomorrow.
My message is that this is our city, that we have to live here, and that when you destroy your infrastructure, I've seen cities that haven't recovered 50 years later, like the city of Watts, that are still starting to recover. And for those parents who have kids that are out there that came off that campus, take control of your kids. This is our city. Let's make a difference.